Yo, what's going on, everybody? Lignicky here for a different episode today. We're actually doing a recap with a good friend of mine. People know him on Pokemon Showdown as Peter Panshrew. Peter Panshrew, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit, what you do and everything?
Um, hey, what do you mean by what I do?
Like, do you, like, how much of a competitive battler, how big into competitive battling you are and
Ah,
everything?
I want to be fairly competitive, but I try to be competitive, and yeah,
Alright. Well, like, I've known you for, like, what, well over a year now and stuff like that?
almost two, I want to say,
Yeah, almost
almost.
two. Yeah, it's been quite a while, and like I've seen you battling. I've kind of helped you with some of your team and stuff like that. I think this is all 100% unique and stuff from what I showed you. But like previous teams and stuff like that, we would work together and everything. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you did over in Salt Lake City? Let's kind of start with the regionals there and stuff like that.
Regional was not my best performance, sadly. I went 4-3, 4 wins, 3 losses, and totaled halfway through, which is probably why I lost one or two of them, I want to say. But
That's
those are also fun. Sorry.
oh no, go on.
But yeah, I switched around, added list there, which I later on switched out and kind of regretted, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean, from what I seen on what your regional team was, and I remember this very fondly because we did a best of three before you left, and you utterly just wiped the floor with me, especially with the little star that we have right up here that's on, on the camera right now. Your little Gudra, and let me tell you, this this thing is nothing to joke with. You want to tell us how this thing did, like how good it was on your team and whatnot?
Sure, Gudra was amazing, I thought. It was my main answer to Rain and as well as Sun, and it kind of was my only bulk in the team, really. So it was very important to me because I had no other bulk.
All right. But yeah, I can definitely see that it's incredibly bulky with 175 special defense with a Sap Sipper and Assault Vest. You're pretty much... You can't be touched by Kartana, it seems.
Smart Strike hurts, but it's like 3 KO, I believe.
Alright.
Yeah.
That's definitely... But I mean, at that point, if it's a 3 KO, your other team members can more than likely take it out. Or the flamethrower you have on your own, Gudra can easily take that favor. And
Indeed.
yeah. Alright. Anything else you want to say about this Gudra? Because, like, from what I'm seeing, it's definitely good. And a lot of people can't see because the Bruxious is in the way. But you're packing Feint on there, which is actually really, really interesting move. Because not many people see that on Pokemon, especially Gudra.
Feint was very handy when I didn't want to risk losing to weather damage and that kind of thing, as well as stopping Leech Seed stall from self-stealer.
Okay. That's actually definitely good
Because,
reasoning to
yeah,
bring it.
it was
'Cause,
very handy. They would Leech Seed it and then attack, which I'd break and then Focus Blast to death usually.
alright. So, what seemed to be your biggest threat with Pokemon that would target down Gudra? Like, what Pokemon were the biggest threats? Because as somebody who's gone against this Gudra, I know that my Nihilego with Hidden Power Ice didn't even touch it. Like, even my Silvally did, like, negligible amounts of damage to it.
Hmm. Biggest threat would probably be Lele or Garchomp with Z, Ground Z.
Alright. So, definitely the kind of the, not
Two
super common
hitters.
things, but, two of the more standardized Mons in this year.
Correct. Additionally, Psyshock Lele was kind of terrifying to think about anyways for it.
Alright. Yeah, Psyshock Lele is something that I've been considering myself because
Yeah.
I kind of need that physical attack, per se.
That makes sense. Like, I mostly spammed Psyshock when I used a Psychic move on my Lele at the regionals and MSS because it did. Whereas Arcanine, which has Intimidate, they tend to be more specially bulky, I felt, or at least I saw there that they were.
Alright. And speaking of the mid-season showdown, we haven't quite got to that yet. How did you do in the mid-season showdown?
I went X and 1 until Top Cut, where I got 4th and lost round 1. But yeah,
Well, that's definitely quite a feat with such a unique team, and I'm not saying that in any negative way. This is actually a really nice team. I'm kind of jealous on your creativity here, especially with the Bruxish that you have. Bruxish is definitely something that's not very used. If you want, do you want to pull that up real quick so we can talk about this thing?
sure. Just a moment. Buttons.
All right. So let's take a look at this thing real quick. All right, we're just going to do this. And sorry, this is kind of a Jimmy rig thing on how to do these things, but that way we can see everything. We have this really nice Bruxish here, and okay. So the funny thing is, I was going to help you build these things. I was going to help you breed these things, and I was trying to get him a shiny Bruxish. And I really hate this solely for the fact being is I got everything. I was trying to nature breed it, and 11 eggs into it, wouldn't you know it, shiny Bruxish. Didn't have the egg moves or nothing, and it made me really sad. But hey, you know what? Things happen. You want to talk about this thing real quick? Because it's definitely kind of... I guess people are starting to say it's your signature Mon, which I think is actually a really clever way of putting it.
I think I'll start with its weaknesses. First of all, 68. Actually, let me pull it up real fast to be sure. Has about 68, 70 defenses, I believe, as bases. It's very frail. Yes, 38 HP, 70 defense, 70 special defense, 92 speed, 70 special attack, and 105 attack.
But that's actually really good when you look at it compared to what it has as that strong jaw ability, and most of your attack moves are Psychic Fang, Crunch, and Ice Fang.
Correct.
I also knew that back in the mid-season showdown, not mid-season showdown, my apologies, the regionals, you were actually running HP Fire over Frost Breath. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, and I'm taking that was to specifically shut down Kartanas and stuff. Definitely throw them away and stuff like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I fought a very bulky Phytinium Kartana, which did not kill. I did not kill that, but it did work on it. So.
Hey, as long as it did work on it, it definitely is something that if I wasn't expecting it, I would probably be like, what the heck just happened? How's that thing faster than me? And how is it, doing so much damage?
Yeah.
It's definitely a very unique Mon, and I'm pretty sure this is what everybody, especially that was watching the stream, was waiting for, because I know for a fact I was waiting for this thing, because it's definitely one of my more favorite Mons to see in competitive.
It's interesting because despite stats, it has a very interesting combination. It's not actually ×4 on turn 2, but it can be on turn 3, I believe. It's strong draw, which is 1 times 1.5 boost. Then there is stab, which is another 1.5. Terrain is yet another. And Psychic Fang is a fairly strong move with 85 base power and physical. It's a fighting move, so it's the boost from strong draw. And it KOs or 2 hit KOs a lot of things. Like it autos Coco right off the bat usually.
Alright, and that's definitely something that needs to be taken care of looking at most of your team, especially when you had Gigalith over Krookodile. Taking out Coco seems to be one of your biggest priorities, especially with, especially with this Bruxish, which, honestly, again, as I said, would definitely throw me off if I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, people actually tended not to realize what item it was until like game 3. Mostly because I would hide the item by targeting things that I was actually faster than they were,
Alright, and that's actually a very, very smart way of putting it, because, I mean, if you were to sit there and, like, deliberately target, like, an Aerodactyl with, say, Ice Fang, I'd sit there and be like, okay, yeah, I know that's Scarfed. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that very well. But, I could definitely see this thing being, definitely something that people might start picking up, because it is actually a pretty formidable Pokemon.
It is. It 2-kills Lele almost all the time. In terrain, it does around, I want to say, 60%. I'll have to calculate it, but that's, I recall, on 4 HP or so.
Alright. That's definitely interesting, because, even you're running it. The Lele Blim thing is really starting to like blow up. I was gonna say balloon, but I'm trying to minimize the amount of puns that we have here. But
Makes sense.
how does this do against Lele Blim teams, if I may ask?
Does very well, I feel, because the Drifloon tends to always tailwind on turn 1, and Brackish outspeeds the Lele, which is also never Scarf from my experience, or from what I saw. And it also oftentimes Oto's Drifloon.
Alright.
In fact, it Oto's Shoma's Drifloon 100% of the time.
Alright, well there you go. I mean, that's definitely a good thing to hear because I have noticed that a lot of Lele's happen to be scarfed, which I'm starting to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
I mean, you know my typical counter for that, and it's starting to wear down a little bit. But speaking of that, do you want to pull up your Drifloon? I mean, Driftblim, not Drifloon. It's a big boy now.
I mean, I have Drifloon if I pull it up, but I'll show you Drifloon.
Alright, well, yeah, let's see the Driftblim real quick.
This one's fairly standard, however, it is what it is, so...
Alright, well, I mean, you know, we still kind of want to take everybody and show everybody equally.
Yeah, for sure.
But I am noticing that you're running a rather unique move on there over, you know, acrobatics or something.
Yeah.
Being the clear smog, which, I mean, I kind of know why, but do you want to explain why you decided to run that over anything else?
Kinda... Yeah, I have a few reasons for it. It's a very weak move at 50 base power. It never misses, which is nice for offensive and defensive reasons. If I were to face Geo, for example, which I would not be happy doing because he'd probably EV me, but if I were to face him, I would just have to take out whatever he had for redirection and just more to EV at a baton pass. Furthermore, if I were to be snarled, I could clear spot my own thing, deal minimal damage, and reset my stats to 0.
Yeah, that's definitely a very clever way of putting that. I actually never thought about that personally, is using it on your own teammates to protect it.
Yeah. I considered Haze, but I liked breaking stashes as well, and I have no stash on my team, so it worked.
Hey, well, I mean, that's definitely a very, very, very smart play right there. I do remember, like, last year, a lot of people were starting to run power-up punch using it on their own Groudons and stuff to get that boost that somebody was double protecting, so...
Hurricane, too.
Yeah.
Sean.
Oh, yeah. But,
that was kind of me, too. So...
Well, I'm just saying, it's like, it's definitely a viable strategy. It's not something to be like, oh, that's weird. It's definitely a very smart way of putting it. Alright, do you want to bring up your second of the duo here that's the Lele in the group?
Indeed, I will.
Alright, let's take a look at this Tapu Lele. It's actually interesting because we typically see Choice Scarf, as you mentioned earlier, and we're looking at a Choice Specs.
Indeed.
Which is very interesting.
It's I kind of got inspiration from Shoma's concept of it, where he ran a bulky specs one that had little speed investment, if no speed investment.
Okay, yeah, I can kind of see that it's not exactly the fastest thing on the field. But I do have to ask, what kind of hidden power is that?
That is HP Fire.
HP Fire, alright. I guess, again, to shut down Kartanas and such, right?
Indeed. It lives a Smart Strike from 2x2 attack, Jolly, which is nice.
Alright, that's definitely a very, very, very smart idea. And also, for those who can't really see, I mean, pretty much anybody can't see this because the Goodra is kind of like putting his hands in the way saying, no, you can't see this. This thing's also running Psychic, Psyshock, and Moonblast, which makes a lot of sense because, you know, as you said, it's Specs. It'd be kind of pointless to sit there and be like, okay, well, I'm just going to run Protect on this thing. I've seen that. I've done that. Forgetting that something was Specs, I'm like, I'm just going to Protect first turn. Oh, no. I've done it. I will be the first to admit I'm not the smartest cookie hanging from the chandelier here. But it definitely, the Drifloon Lele sets are very, very terrifying to say the absolute least.
Yeah, I mean, what I liked about the Lele was that I could take on either Calm Mind Feeny, Dragons, or it could take on Kartana with HP Fire, or just hit hard Psychic.
Alright, and certainly does pay off, especially as you said you went 4-3 correctly, right?
At the regional, yes,
Yes,
but
and in
yeah,
mid-season showdown, you managed to get fourth, which means that this is definitely a team worth paying off. Like,
yeah, it was definitely worthwhile.
and I'm definitely glad to hear that because, as I said before we were recording this, like everybody was rooting for you. Everybody had your back, dude. 110%. You were literally the MVP of Showdown right there. You were the
That's funny.
hero that the Showdown community needed.
I was the end hero.
Yeah, you were the ant hero. Yeah, there you go. All right, so why don't we pull up the last of the Pokemon that were in both the regionals and the mid-season showdown, the Pheromosa.
All right.
All right, because I'm actually really excited to see how this one went because as we were talking before this, I'm actually considering running a Pheromosa myself, but
Yeah.
as you've noticed, ours definitely differ. You're running a modest Beast Boost Fighting Z set, which is absolutely terrifying, especially how you have that built that it's actually just going to keep building up that special attack after each kill.
Yeah, I kind of goofed it on the EVs because I wanted to be force up and not defense.
Okay.
And that is because that would have raised Porygon 2's attack shot, which I didn't burn.
Yeah, that's something that also needs to be really considered because Porygon 2 isn't exactly the rarest Pokemon in the meta, and you
True.
kind of want to like shut it down as much as you possibly can in terms of what do you call it?
Boosts and such.
Yeah, and that's actually why I'm running a hasty nature. That way, it gets that attack boost.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Yeah, and
very
that
cool,
way I
actually.
can hit everything as well. And speaking of hitting everything, you have a very nice array of move sets here. You got the Protect, you got the Focus Blast, the Bug Buzz, and the Ice Beam. So, why exactly did you bring Bug Buzz, if I may ask? Because it doesn't seem like many things get hit overly hard this year by Bug-type moves.
And not many do, it's true. I mostly used it for when I don't want to Ice Beam or Focus Blast, because Focus Blast has the accuracy that's not the best.
Yeah, we all know that one very, very well, unfortunately.
Also, Oranguru was seen, which I want to be careful about that one too, because I can't really tail it in many ways right off the bat.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I would usually have to Psych Fange or Ice Fange it before Bud Buzzing, which worked out pretty well.
Alright, and yeah, that's actually a very smart play to do, because I was doing some calcs earlier, and even 252 Special Attack Modest doesn't exactly kill Oranguru. It is actually a fairly bulky Pokemon, which I do appreciate.
Sorry, I had to grab something. Yeah, it's pretty bulky despite its stats. I fortunately did not face many of them. That would have been fortunate for me because I don't have any enter Trick Room. I had more of a hyper offense team, obviously.
Yeah, we can definitely see that you have a hyper offense team, something that a lot of people have been trying to stay away from, but you've obviously managed to pull it off very nicely.
Thank you. I feel that perhaps if I had... I feel like it takes a lot of predictions to make it work well, where I kind of did it and kind of didn't do it as well. But it worked, sort of.
I mean, hey, as long as it worked out, that's the main thing that really counts.
That's true.
And also, I have to hand it to you. I'm starting to see more and more multi-Ultra Beast teams. Like, I've started to see, like, even when I was doing some testing before we did this battle, I saw actually 4 Ultra Beasts on one team. And, like, I'm going to say this. This might offend anybody who's actually watching this and uses more than 3. I mean, uses more than 2. If you got to use more than 2 Ultra Beasts on your team, you probably might need to reconsider building your team altogether.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but that's not necessarily true. They all complement each other very, very well. Like, there's Cortana and Heligo, and I want to say...
Celesteela is also a very good one, too.
Yeah. There's Cortana, Heligo, and... Pheromosa, that's what it was, of course.
Yeah, Pheromosa, but
That's a very nice triple UB core, but that's because they complement each other unfortunately very, very well.
and you know, I do see it. It definitely has its merits, but you know, just like personally saying, I don't really like it when people have to resort to more than one practical legendary. Like,
Yeah.
these things are actually significantly more powerful than the Tapus, in my personal opinion, because they actually have a lot of power behind them.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the most threatening one, I feel, but...
Oh yeah, most
I mean,
definitely.
that even gets Psyshock to be other ones, for that matter. So.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so should we move on to well, what do you want to say? Do you want to show off the Gigalith or the Crocodile first? Because that's 100% up to you.
I'll do Crocodile first since I was in the MSS.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do. Let's do that. That way we can show the
Then
the true victor, I guess you could say, like the one that's definitely
the up
definitely
and out.
worth noting. Yeah, the up and up. Yeah. That's also a very unique bomb because a lot of people tend to prefer what's it called over
Intimidate, I thought.
Yeah, a lot of people prefer the Intimidate, and a lot of people actually prefer Garchomp over Crocodile.
Correct.
But this was a pleasant surprise when I heard that you were actually running Crocodile, because I was actually running Crocodile for a short while myself, and I absolutely loved it. It was a great attacker, but
unfortunately I forgot to re-EV it after I de-EV'd it because I needed to fix it up.
Oh.
But that's after the event, so it's fine.
Alright. Well, I mean, as long as you got it decently done in the event. But as we've seen, as you've said, you've gotten to the top 4, which obviously that's definitely some you know, feat in its own. I don't care who you are. Like, getting to the top cut alone is really good.
Unfortunately, it did not really appear in the battles, and I could have won those battles, I think, if I had brought it. Because it outsped Moss Lily, I think, and it would have changed the Dazzling Gleam from Coco. And yeah, so.
Alright. But I am noticing that you are bringing, excuse me, again, I cannot English very properly, ever. You're bringing a very unique team, right? A very unique moveset that a lot of people don't see, and it's actually got me kind of, not confused, but intrigued, because you're running a Sand Tomb, Facade, Power Trip, and Protect. Why exactly did you decide to bring those moves?
Well, I think that for Power Trip is mostly for the Frost Breath on my fish. Or Breakfast, sorry.
The fish.
Indeed, the fish.
The fish.
Oh. But yeah, I brought that because it triggers a +6 boost, which also triggers my berry, which boosts my power trip to base 160 power. Time Stab, which is like around 240 damage on turn 1, ideally.
Well, I mean, right then there, that's pretty much game if you don't know how to shut that down instantly.
Unfortunately, people do know how to beat that fairly easily, and that's to target the fish or the Crocodile. Either one dies, that's it over.
Yeah, that is a very true and unfortunate situation, but it's definitely good for a Game 1 situation.
Indeed. It's nice because people see it and they're like, oh, he'll need that, or he'll tell them back, but you don't necessarily need to bring it.
Yeah. It's definitely...
You can bring one or other, but you don't need to bring both.
Yeah. I do like the idea that it could be used for Game 1, and you kind of lure that Game 2 to be in your favor by, like, leading Lele Blim afterwards.
Precisely. I actually did that a few times in the MSS, I think. Yeah.
Alright, well, that's definitely a good thing to hear, because that's very clever.
It was interesting, because they would lead for round 2, and I think it was Mimikyu, I thought. No, it was for round 2, and it was Mimikyu, Magnezone. I led that turn, game 1, I believe, to try and figure out what he was going to do. And proceeded to see he was bulky physically, and then I decided to the Mimikyu in game 2 and 3.
Alright.
Nice.
Alright, so about the Sand Tomb though, why exactly did you choose Sand Tomb over, say, Earthquake or well, I don't think it gets any other single target ground type moves.
As Dig, but Dig is Dig.
Yeah.
So
Dig is Dig, yeah. It's definitely one of the it's the black sheep of moves.
True. I ran Sand Tomb because of a few things. One, which was the trapping effect. You could trap something into doing something it didn't want to do. Like I think that for round 2 might want to switch out from Pheromosa. But if you let's say intimidate it, then I target down the other thing, Sand Tomb for round 2 and kill that next turn.
Alright.
That matter, certain effect is that damages them every turn. for 4 turns, or 4 to 5 turns, I believe.
And that's actually a very, very, very clever way of doing it, because you're pretty much sitting there and you're kiting them into the way you want to play the game.
Indeed.
I can see this being a big threat against Pokemon such as, not Kartana, because Kartana can hit back, but Pokemon such as Magnezone, even though Magnezone kind of dies that very first turn, but it's definitely a good thing that they can't get out of there.
Indeed, and sturdy variants kind of do go down to that.
Yeah,
actually, any Magnezone goes down to it, but I like sturdy because then they kind of see it happening.
Yeah, they have absolutely no choice but to sit there and watch their poor precious UFO kind of go down there.
Yeah, and, maybe that's a disagree on my part, I guess, but...
So, if I may ask, the last move there, Facade, why did you choose Facade over, say, Belly Drum? Not Belly Drum, I don't know why I was thinking that. Body Slam, I think it gets Body Slam.
I don't think it does, but I chose it over, like, Fire Fang or something, for example. Because Facade and Power Trip, think about, if you don't burn it, you take damage. If you burn it, you take more damage, too. Or not, you don't take more damage, you take about the same amount of damage.
Okay. Definitely an admirable idea there, because pretty much you're punishing people for trying to punish you.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if they don't burn me, they get Power Trip. If they do burn me, they get Facaded.
Okay, I could definitely respect that. Now, I do have a question about how much damage does Power Trip actually do to, what do you call it? Celesteela. Because that's something that...
It goes after Frost Breath.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was curious about, because I wasn't too entirely sure, and I just was like super intrigued and curious about that.
Yeah, actually, if you remember, I can tell you the exact number that does. Against 202 plus, it does 125 to 148%.
Oh, so it's pretty much no matter what, it's gone.
Correct. That's actually not even the max damage it is. That's without the berry boost.
Ooh.
With berry is 143 to 139.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say, if I start seeing Crocodile around, I am going to have to be incredibly careful about this thing, because it definitely shows that it's a monster.
Yeah, also Oko's Feeny usually.
Oko's Tapu Fini.
Yep, do so. Let me check it real fast though. Yeah, Oko's the 202-20 variants reliably. I believe also Oko's the 202-44 one as well. I haven't checked that one.
That's
Actually, 44 had a chance to live. Was like a 6.2% to live.
That's terrifying.
It is.
That is incredibly terrifying. I do not want to be on the receiving end of one of these things. Like, if I could be 100% honest.
Also, that's off of 4 attack investments. So if you ran 12, you could probably KO any Feeny. Or if you had more attack, you could KO any Feeny, I believe.
Wait, you're only running 4 attack investment into this, you said?
Yep.
That is, without a doubt, one of the scariest things I have ever heard about a Crocodile. I have a newfound respect for this thing, even though I never disrespected it to begin with.
252 Feeny with a neutral nature still outcoded by 252 attack Power Trip.
That's terrifying.
It is. Also, it outcodes per run too, but yeah.
Alright, I mean, that kind of goes without saying. If it can Oko Tapu Fini with ease, we got this.
True.
Alright, so, I think that kind of wraps up for the mid-season showdown ones. If you want to talk about the Gigalith, I mean, we still got some time.
Yes. That's my I'll start about that one.
Alright, yeah, let's talk about that one, because I was actually really impressed with the Gigalith, and speaking of impressed, I'm actually really impressed on the item that I'm seeing that this Gigalith is holding.
The Choice Band?
Yeah, Choice Band, because not many run Choice Band. I've seen such as, what do you call it? I have seen Rocky MZ, that's right, and Assault Vest as well, which, I hate going up against the Assault Vest variants. It's so terrifying.
They are. I started with AV, actually, because of... It took on Double Darts very well, despite the typing. Turned to Sand, Hydro Vortex, reliably. And, yeah, it just turns the hits very well, and -1 guard trap does not KO the spread.
Alright. Well, that's That's
Or,
definitely a good thing to hear.
although it had no Intimidate, or something that burned also did not KO.
All right. That's that's definitely quite the set you have there. And for those who can't see, again, I'll have to say this: Stone Edge, Heavy Slam, Earthquake, and Rock Slide. Um, if I can ask, why exactly the moveset you have there? What does it do?
It doesn't have a lot of options, I feel, due to lacking superpower this gen. But because of that, I had to find a filler move, and I didn't want to use Wide Guard on Banded set, so I ran Earthquake.
Alright.
Heavy Slam was for fairies, and Stone Edge Rock Slide is just for the double stab when I don't want to miss Stone Edge, or if I want to do more damage.
Okay, that's definitely a very admirable thing, and I'm also seeing that your speed isn't exactly as slow as it can get for a Gigalith.
Oh yeah, it's 4 speed IVs.
Why is that, if I may ask?
Because out of Trick Room, not in Trick Room, you can reliably outspeed the 0-speed Gigalith by 1 point.
Alright. While
also remaining fairly slow for Trick Room matchups.
That is definitely a very, very unique idea, and that's actually one of the coolest things I've heard is, you know, being able to outspeed its own brethren. I'm guessing to hit them hard with your own Heavy Slam and your own Earthquakes?
I tend to Stone Edge them because that is a lot more than Heavy Slam or EQ.
Alright. And I guess that also prevents the whole potential Wide Guard, and you're kind of locked into it kind of deal. So yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I could have Heavy Slam them, but that would do, I want to say, base 40-some damage or so.
Alright.
So that seemed kind of subpar as far as options went for that.
Yeah, in retrospect, I don't even know why I suggested the Heavy Slam, because it's like, what, 20 power because you both weigh the same?
Maybe? I'll have to check that later on, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's something absolutely silly. But it's definitely a unique set. Do you know the the EV spread on this off the bat? Because
I do.
Okay.
It's 244 HP, 172 attack, 36 defense, 32 defense, and 60 special defense. I recently fixed that spread because it was wasting EVs in both stats, but
okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, it's definitely something that if I wasn't paying attention, or I paid attention in the second and third round, or wasn't expecting it altogether in round 1, definitely a force to be reckoned with.
It was. Oftentimes I would switch it in on rain leads, and Psychic Developer, or whatever it was, and bring down the stash, then the Tailwind take care of it after Tailwind, I take Tailwind after that.
Okay, that's a very clever and respectable way of putting it. I'm doing that. I'm trying to think what I can really ask when it comes to this thing, because I tried to use Gigalith for a little bit, and we were even talking about that while before we were doing this.
Yeah,
and I couldn't exactly come up with an idea for Gigalith. How exactly does it do, like, overall? What would you rank that as in the 1 through 10? 10 being the best, and 1 through being there could be so much better mons.
That's a hard one because I'd have to choose 2 numbers, which would be around 4 and 8, depending on the matchup.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that is kind of a good point. It all solely depends on the matchup.
Like, Trick Room can just Rock Slide and Heavy Slam turns to Oblivion, but in other matchups, like versus, say, I think Sun was one of them because of the min-speed Torkoals, that one's harder for it because it's a bit faster than it wants to be.
Alright, yeah, definitely fair enough. And speaking of that, how well can you handle against Lily Cole? Because,
do you mean with or without Gigalith?
Without Gigalith, looking at your mid-season showdown team.
That would have been a struggle for me because I have Gudra and that, just about that, for that.
Okay.
But Gudra did a good job because Flamethrower the Lilligant and Fainted Super Sacked. And then after that, I just send Lily and Psychic Torkoal, and that's about it.
Alright. That's definitely good to hear that you definitely always have those counters.
But easier said than done, I think.
Yes, it is always when it comes to these kind of things. It's always easier said than done. As somebody who's been doing good and then they fall hard and it just doesn't seem they can back up again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just like kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but overall, I definitely like. If I could personally rate your team, I'm going to definitely say that it is a 9.2 out of 10. I mean, there are some things that could be worked, but then again, as we were talking about, definitely you can't cover everything, but you definitely have the coverage to sit there and shut down most everything.
Yeah. One thing that I did struggle with was Cortanas. Thankfully, I saw very few of them. I was kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, so far as I've noticed, that Cartana is kind of a dying breed.
It is, which I'm happy about.
Oh no, I am beyond ecstatic seeing that these things are all but extinct.
Yeah, the one that I lost to was Gracium, which was very, very interesting, I thought.
Yeah, I'm not seeing very many Sash sets anymore.
Yeah, I was trying to fascinating to see the Gracium. I knew I wouldn't live it, although I tried to anyways.
Alright.
Because it was... I felt that since I'm pretty sure I wouldn't win, I would just data on it for the future. And my Lily should not survive a Gracium Cortana, so that's good to know.
Yeah. Alright. But I do believe that this is about all the time we have. We have been talking about your team for about almost 45 minutes. Definitely got into depth here, and I do have to say thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I cannot thank you enough. This has actually been a really, really good opportunity to learn from somebody who's actually scored higher than I have ever done it. And definitely had some very, very interesting and unique teams and different reasonings for those teams.
It's no problem.
Alright, and guys, ladies and gentlemen, for those watching, if you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a like down below, and if you guys have not already, please consider subscribing because it helps me out very, very much. Join us in the next episode where we will be doing a best of 3 match against the one and the same Peter Panshrew.
Oh, one other thing.
Yes?
It's not necessary, but if any of you have any comments on my team, please let me know down there because I'll be observing once in a while. So...
Yes, please do. Please let him know. Please let me know how this could have been done, how, like, what you guys possibly would have done. Honestly, I kind of put my 2 cents into this. I really liked it. I couldn't really see anything that could be changed immediately until after everything was said and done. And that's why I kind of gave it a 9.2 out of 10, which is still pretty high ranking because a lot of times I am very critical. But anyways, I think that's going to do it. You got anything else to say?
No, not really.
Alright, well that being the case, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in our best of 3. Bye-bye.
Farewell.